that you travel along. Well, it's one day here and the next day gone. Sometimes you bend, sometimes you stand, sometimes you turn your back to the wind. There's a world outside every darkened door. The blues won't haunt you anymore.
What's more important, the journey or the destination?
The journey, because it shapes someone into who they are.
Well, isn't there like a quote that says like, it's not about like where you're going, it's how you get there, something like that. So I would say the journey, because there are a lot more possibilities like within the journey. It's like you can meet people or like find out things, like stop makes points along the way, things like that. But like maybe it's like worth more than what you were searching for. You find something along the way that is better than what you wanted originally.
I think the journey is because of the relationship you build over the journey.
Probably the journey, because it's who you meet and how you get there, and then once you get to your destination, you wouldn't have gotten there without the journey.
I think the journey is most important, because I think that we learn through our mistakes, and I think that the journey, the mistakes and the challenges only propel us forward. And I think that almost like the journey, once you get there, it's like, wow, is this really as awesome as I thought it would be? I think the journey is what is challenging, and it keeps you going. And I think that the journey is more important.
Do I think that, which do I think is more important, the journey or the destination? I think that it's fairly self-evident that your destination is a result of your journey. Everybody is the culmination of a set of experiences. So U.S. history, I think is a process moving towards an end. So yes, I do believe that the destination is a byproduct of the journey.
Well, it depends on where you're going.
In a worn path, an old woman named Venus Jackson is walking through the woods into town. Her reason for going to the city is to pick up a supply of medicine for her grandson, who accidentally swallowed lye a few years before. He became very sick. On her way, she encounters many obstacles, including dense forests and wild animals. Large hills. Thorny bushes. A small creek. And a cornfield and scarecrow. On the way, she encounters an old white man and steals his nickel. And continues her journey to the city. In the city, she buys the medicine with the stolen nickel. When she reaches the hospital, she sees her grandson. She gives him the medicine and he is healed.
To what extent should relationships in your community and society be valued?
I think they should be valued greatly because without it, there'd be great disorder.
Well, okay. Depending on like how strong the relationship is and who the relationship with, it can help you like make important decisions. They can like help you make important decisions if you need like life advice or things like that. It can offer you support if you're ever in need, things like that.
To a great extent.
You should value your relationships within your community because you wouldn't be the same without those people around you, and you never know, one day you might need those people and you might be a good friend for them.
I think they should be valued a lot because if you were like alone all the time, you'd probably go crazy.
Historically, do you think figures' legacies are defined by their journey or their destination?
He's not who he is without the experiences that he experiences through the Revolution, through his journey into Tennessee, through his Calvinist background, his Presbyterian Calvinist background, through where he lives. If he would have been born in Virginia Tidewater, he'd have probably had a very different outlook on life. He'd have been more aristocratic, more Jeffersonian. You know, he'd have probably grown up in a Jeffersonian tradition instead of, you know, that Jacksonian, all men, remember men, should have a say.
I've known rivers ancient as the world and older than the flow of human blood in human veins. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. I bathed in the Euphrates when dawns were young. I built my hut near the Congo and it lulled me to sleep. I looked upon the Nile and raised the pyramids above it. I heard the singing of the Mississippi when Abe Lincoln went down to New Orleans, and I've seen its muddy bosom turn all golden in the sunset. I've known rivers, ancient dusky rivers. My soul has grown deep like the rivers.
Langston Hughes' famous poem, The Negro Speaks of Rivers, is extensive to any human with hopes, dreams, and a history. Any human within a community that cares about society. Hughes establishes his relationship with his ancestral family and brethren that are stuck in their journey as well. The importance of this poem is derived from the fact that Hughes wrote it when he was 17. As he looks out the train window, crossing the Mississippi River, he has no idea what the future will hold for him and his people. He gives a glimpse into his beliefs and history as he rises to one of the greatest figures of the Harlem Renaissance. Hughes does not explicitly address Harlem, but his recurring themes shape key values of himself and the movement that become significantly expressive in the future in the monumental shift towards African American freedom. How have your personal journeys and relationships shaped you?
And made me into a better man.
It's gonna sound it's like you along your personal journey, you meet more people and you meet like different groups that you don't usually hang out with or associate with, and you can learn things from them, and it'll help you grow as a person. Like I've met groups of people that like in the class like above us or below us that like I would have never really talked to otherwise, and I've learned that like there's more to life than just kind of doing whatever, being with the same people. I've learned to be more positive and more outgoing, things like that. So I think that it's good to meet new people.
They have made me into the person I am today.
Well, I know my friends have shaped me to be a very good person. I'm not always the nicest, but they kind of keep me in line.
I've become more of the woman I want to be.
I've been a teacher for about 16 years. I've been a parent for about 22 years. I think that both have shaped me tremendously. The mistakes I've made as a teacher, the mistakes I've made as a parent, have only made me better. It's not that I don't make mistakes anymore, because I think we still continue to make mistakes and learn from the mistakes. But I think that having had so much experience with teenagers, that I understand them more now, and they relate to me, I think, and I relate to them much better now, just because of all the obstacles that I run into and figured out over my lifetime. And I think that journey of being a parent and being a teacher and living through the mistakes and learning what I would do differently has shaped me into a decent teacher and a decent parent, but definitely not perfection.
The way I teach kids is a combination of the way I was taught, which of course my experience is going to be different than others. I had a lot of really good history teachers at Carolina who were narrative historians. And, I've always, try to tell history like it's a big giant story, because that's the way I had a lot of professors that taught it to me. If you went to a different school, had different professors, you have a different outlook on things.
Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth, then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as far as for that passing there had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference.
In Robert Frost's The Road Not Taken, he depicts a major dilemma in life through a metaphor. Frost conveys himself standing at a point where two paths diverge and he must choose one. The paths symbolize two different ways his life could end up. The poem shows that the journey is more important than the destination because Frost will learn along the way if he has made the correct decision. Most importantly, his journey will shape who he becomes just as it does for everyone. He closes the poem with, I took the road less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Frost delivers the message that following the crowd isn't always the best choice, and sometimes you must diverge from the path to discover your true fate.
What do you think Robert Frost is trying to portray to the audience by ending his poem, The Road Not Taken, with the idea that taking the road less traveled has made all the difference?
I think what Robert Frost was saying is being an individual, do what you want to do in life, even if it's not maybe what has been laid out in front of you or what others do. Kind of the easy road. I think he's saying even if it's more difficult, take the road that, or the path in life that others might not have taken, because it's worth it, I think, to overcome challenges and to really strive for something that's an individual desire.
It is a journey that I propose. I am not the guide, nor the technical assistant. I will be your fellow passenger. Though the rail has been hidden, winter clouds cover, autumn's exuberant quilt, we must provide our own posts. I have heard from previous visitors, the road washes out sometimes, and passengers are compelled to continue groping or turn back. I am not afraid. I am not afraid of rough spots or lonely times. I do not fear the successes of this endeavor. I am raw in a space not to be discovered but invented. I promise you nothing. I accept your promise. Of the same we are simply riding, a wave that may carry or crash. It's a journey, and I want to go.
Nikki Giovanni's A Journey shows her grand experience of determination through a destined journey. She describes her experience through descriptive terms and says that she understands that her journey may lead one way or the other, good or bad.
I'm guarding game, but there's not much time left today. Life is a highway, well I won't ride it all night long. If you're going my way, well I won't drive it all night long. Through all these cities and all these towns, it's hit my blood and it's all around. I loved you now like I loved you then. This is the load and these are the hands. From Mozambique to those Memphis nights, Cabo past to Vancouver's lines. Knock me down, get back up again. It's in my blood, I'm not a lonely man.
Relationships in your community and society even.
Historically, do you think in Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken.
It looks like
How has your personal journeys and relationships shaped you?
Avery, stop laughing.
Our general thing is like the shape. What shapes you as a person?
Yeah.
So the journey, yeah.
Can I take a while to answer? Like, because you can just cut
Yes.
it down, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You
So
can take as long as you need. You can think.
Oh, okay. That's a tough one.
Go.
What do you think is most important, the journey or the destination?